Three, two, one. Yay. Welcome, welcome. So glad you're here with us today. One of the wonderful things about being live is experiencing all sorts of technical difficulties. So we love it. I'm Mary Bowser with Lifetime Wellness Associates, and with me is Vance Rogers, and his business is Wellness Beyond Belief.
Correct.
Well, what is that all about? Our topic today is energy lifesavers. So, Vance, I've known you for 20 years. Tell me what you do.
It's an excellent question, Mary. So thank you for it. But let me go back to your original question, wellness beyond belief, what is it? And I'm gonna take this laptop and I'm gonna get it so it's not bouncing, because I know that makes some of us dizzy or jumpy or agitated. And I I discovered this thing called NECAN on September 24th, 1992. So I'm about ready to come up on my 29th anniversary. And numbers and dates and anniversaries are a big thing to me, because growing up, they weren't always celebrated like they should be. So I tend to geek out on them. But what happened to me actually was a couple years prior to that. And I like to have fun. I live in a national scenic area, and I'm always up for a challenge or a dare or something, something that, that carpe diem, seize today, live life on the edge. We only get one life to live, and I'm not talking about the soap opera. Those, my mother-in-law used to watch those, and she called them her shows. A lot of drama, and we got enough of that in the world, so I don't know. But I've always wanted to enjoy life to its fullest. So when something that was presented to me, if it was fun and if it was legal and if it was morally, acceptable and it didn't hurt anybody, including myself, I would do it. And the long story, very, very short, is the summer of 1991. I spent 2 months in Venezuela, doing some just crazy out of the box stuff that was fun and legal, and it was socially helping other people. And I led a team of 35 young people, and it was just fun. Got back home to Oregon, and again, we live in a national scenic area where it's a rough place to live. It's beautiful, and as you can see, we have a decent view.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, decent view from our
Wow.
home. And um, my younger brother said, "Hey, we found this really super cool trail with a waterfall, and it's only 75 feet from where you jump to where you hit the water." And Mary, have you ever heard that phrase, young and dumb? Young and dumb.
Been there.
So here I was, 23 years young, almost 23. I was just a few days before my 23rd birthday, so I was 22, and I didn't hit the water quite right. And there's no real way, because I've learned from some Navy friends. And matter of fact, one of them is getting ready to join our local volunteer fire department, which I am one of those as well. So now I go in and help rescue people who are young and dumb, or maybe they're young and foolish. They're not really dumb. I cause permanent injury to my back, to my lower back, specifically on the right side. And I couldn't lay down on my back. I couldn't sleep on my back. The chiropractors, the massage therapists said, you're going to have to deal with this the rest of your life, so just get used to it. I I don't know. On the pain scale, I didn't want to get used to, the pain scale of like 4 to 6-ish every day. And sometimes it's like 8 or 9-ish. And, because a friend of mine named Ray Crum said, 10 on the pain scale is like slamming your favorite, right arm or left arm in a car door repeatedly. Or maybe that's 11 on the pain scale. I'm not sure. But fast forward about a year and a half later to September. Well, actually, it was a little over a year. Yeah, 13 months. This friend of mine, his name is Dennis Williams. He came to my parents' home and he introduced me to these concepts that were just way out of the box. And I went, well, that's kind of crazy. I don't know about that. I've never heard of that before. But, Alvin Toffler taught me this years ago. And I'm only going to paraphrase his quote. The illiterate of the 21st century is the person who's willing to learn, unlearn, and then learn again. And so what happened on September 24th, 1992 was it began a journey for me, a personal discovery of what I heard somebody say it this way a few days ago. They said what Nikken as a company, this Japanese company that was started in 1975, what they are really is a personal development program with a compensation plan attached. And I went, that's it. And I just learned this a few weeks ago. And I thought, that's it. That's what I've been on this journey for, 29 years. And when I had to get a business card made, I went, well, how do I want to describe my business? Because it's a business. I literally thought, I know the 11th commandment is thou shalt not pay retail. And so I thought if I have to pay a fee to get the products at a discount because I'm hurting physically as a young person in my 20s, and I bought some products and I started using them, and all of a sudden I was sleeping on my back again, and I was able to do the things, and I'm in better physical shape today. I know this angle and this time of day makes my eyes look fat, so I don't know how to make that go away, but I'm in better physical shape today. I just turned 53 than I was at 22. And I do things today that I couldn't do back then.
Mhm.
And because it's fun, it's legal. And and I keep coming back to that because there's a lot of things people do that they're fun, but they're not necessarily legal and they're not necessarily moral. And they tend to harm others or put people in harm's way. And, because of this humans being more philosophy, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, the golden rule.
Mhm.
And you can look at any faith system. They all go back to the same thing. Hey, seek to serve others first.
Mhm.
I just learned this a couple weeks ago. St. Francis of Assisi. I'd heard it before, but
Mhm.
he said it this way: seek first to understand, then to be understood. And I thought, that's it. That's again, it's this personal growth, personal, development program with the compensation. If we can serve others in this journey, so for me, wellness beyond belief is how do I experience wellness, not just in the physical sense, but mental, financially, family wise, society, and those 5 areas. First I take care of my body because it was messed up. Then I take care of my mind because it was messed up too. Because, well, I'll just pop some more Tylenol, some more Advil. No, I don't have a Tylenol or Advil deficiency. I was walking around asleep thinking I was awake, thinking that this is the way. I'll just go back to the chiropractor some more. I don't want to do that. So wellness beyond belief to me is body, mind, family, finances, and then lastly society. And I like them in that order. That's just my preference because I think if we address take care of ourselves first,
Right.
As a first responder, this hit me several years ago. What if there's 800,000, give or take, it's 80% of the firefighters in the United States are volunteer first responders. What if we as volunteers, because we have the same career training that career people do, but what if we ran around and called ourselves volunteer first reactors? And we would never do that. And we don't put the word volunteer anywhere on any of our stuff. That's just our choice for our little department.
Right.
And I think that the premise is that we're here to serve other people.
Mhm.
And just a couple days ago at our #1 tourist attraction in the state of Oregon, it's a 1.25 mile hike, and a young gal from Los Angeles, brief version of the story, her knee popped out on the way down. She's got all the right gear on, she's physically fit, she's hydrated, she did everything she knew how to do. but her knee popped out. Well, because in high school she played basketball and volleyball, and she's already had 2 knee surgeries.
Mm.
So she did the right things, but her knee popped out. She heard it pop out. And for us as first responders, our responsibility was to respond to her 911 call, and we loaded her up, and we all could see, every single one of us, the paramedics who were on scene, the 5 of us guys, all guys, so we had a lot of fun. We started making her laugh, and that made her feel better. And then the Tylenol kicked in, and she decided not to go to the hospital. I thought, okay, this is good. This is good. And we all got free ice cream from the ice cream stand when we got to the bottom. And it took a really, really bad situation. It was their last day here, on their vacation. But we took a really bad situation, and we didn't talk about it. This is just what we do. And we had fun, and we got back, we put all our gear away, we responded. And I kept thinking to myself, that's what I think Isamu Masuda did back in 1975, when he realized that, wait a second, there's some physical issues going on in my own life. Our family's got some needs. How could we take some technologies, some concepts, and put them together? The Japanese, they produce some amazing things. And I grew up with different terms that are not racially acceptable today from my father and my grandfather regarding Japanese technologies. But today I look at it from this perspective of, okay, wait a second. The idea of not feng shui, but it just left my mind. What's the term, Mary?
Kaizen. How about Kaizen?
Thank you. And Kaizen was literally coined this phrase. What can I do today to, number one, better improve myself so that I can be a better help and service to those around me? So and the Japanese as a people, post World War II, you got all these people living on this tiny little island, and they're going, okay, that plan that we had to take over the world, it didn't really work, and it was kind of selfish. And I'm talking about World War II, and again, I'm paraphrasing, and you can fact check me if you want to. But I like movies, and movies like Pearl Harbor, and you see this on the screen like, we've just unlocked the sleeping giant, and this is not good. And they realized this is not good the way we're doing this. Fast forward, American ambassadors and people from around the world went over and said, hey, we're going to help get you guys started again. And I don't know all the things that went into it. I'm not that much of a history buff. But basically they said, what do we got here? And today, Toyota, Sony, you got these huge Japanese companies. And again, tiny little island, overcrowded. They're not perfect by any means. But they're doing pretty good on some regards. And I know that's what went into the founding of, what we do, that you and I get to play with,
right?
With this thing called wellness. We help other people discover it, live it, and then share it. And to me, every single morning, sometimes we use an antiquated pager system, and we use 21st century technology called a cell phone. And so we have a backup fail-safe system. But if I'm not rudely awoken, every single day when I wake up, the first thing I do, number one is I go through my mission statement, why I'm created, what I'm supposed to do. And then I get my morning coffee. I am addicted to good organic coffee. One cup. That's it. That's all I allow myself. Because my family doesn't really like me when I get super, super hyper. But I go into every day. What can I do today to give to others? What can I do to create a living legacy? And we've got 3 amazing daughters. One came from my wife's womb, I should say. We came from mommy's tummy. The other 2 came from mommy's heart. And one's from China and one's from Ethiopia. And then the oldest, they're at 3 totally different stages of life. But history repeats itself. And we just to get the youngest came home yesterday from volleyball practice, and she held up her jersey, and it's number 4.
Uh,
What's the big deal with number 4? Well, that's Daddy's favorite number, and that was also, sorry, it was also her oldest sister's number when she was playing volleyball as a 6th grader. And so it's just like deja vu all over. And I watched her older sister get on the phone and call Southwest Airlines and literally cancel a 3-week trip that she had to Washington, D.C., because that's where she works for a company there remotely here. She shortened up that trip. Why? So she could be here for her sister's volleyball games.
aw.
And I'm like, who does this who raises kids like this? Oh, that's right, that's ours. and I'm yeah, it was a proud daddy moment, but I thought that's what this wellness beyond belief stuff is all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a long way of answering your question. I'm sorry, Mary, if you
Well, Vance, at this rate, I get 2 questions in the time we have. Seriously, I asked you to be my guest today and talk about things, and you've already started that, these energy lifesavers that I know that you've helped introduce thousands of people to. And but I also know that your job as a roofer, your part-time business with your brothers, the roofing business, and also your firefighting. You've seen what some of these products can do. So if you wanted to talk something about those specifically, or some of your experiences, that'd be great.
Well, yeah, and and is it okay if I use illustrations?
Absolutely.
Because I know we learn. And who was it, the gentleman, the actor who said, about Amex, the American Express card, don't leave home without it.
That's right.
If I can key on that. Well, this is a product, and I'm holding it up, making sure, yeah, okay, they're all of them are still there. I try to replace them when they get broken. But this pair that I wear in my house shoes, they don't leave our home ever, 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 ever. I have a right one and then a left one, obviously, but they stay in my house slippers. And I learned this from a mentor of mine, a gentleman by the name of Dave Stoltzfus, and just like Dennis Williams, that my friend who introduced our family to Nikan. You learn these things from people who are either smarter or they've have life experience. Benjamin Franklin, okay? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
That's right.
So before I run out the door, I know I have these in my shoes. And
Right.
for example, that little hiking call we went on the other day, I volunteered. I was not the oldest in the group, but I was the second oldest in the group. But of all the group, I'm in the best physical shape. Not because I work out. I will never pay to have a gym membership. That's on my list of never things to do. I don't need to pay somebody to torture me. I can do it myself. Okay. When my brother calls me and says, "Hey, you up for a good workout?" I know what that means. That means we've got an intense roof coming up, and I'm like, that means I'm going to pay for it the next couple days in the recovery process. But I wear these. This was the first product, and as a first responder, as a roofer, roofing has a roofer has a bad connotation. I call myself a professional roof dancer. Okay, I get to dance on people's roofs, and they pay me to do it. It's so much fun. And I've had I can tell you, I can start naming names in the last month of people that have told me, "You're too old to be doing that, Vance. You shouldn't be doing that anymore. What if you fall off? What if I don't?" It's like, but when I have these in my shoes, and I documented more this summer on video and with photographs of, no, they're magnetic. They don't keep me attached to the metal roof. Okay, come on, people. I don't walk by the refrigerator and they fling me to the refrigerator door. It's funny, but it gets a little old after a while. No, my body was designed with 90,000 nerve endings in each foot. How do I know that? Well, I learned that from podiatrists, and they teach me these things. So I know if I put a energy transmitting device that looks like this, that's got all these energy transmitters in here, you can call them whatever you want. They're magnets. The earth is a magnet. And when we walk barefoot on the earth, we're going to get the energy from the earth. I used to make fun of people that did that. The problem is I'm making fun of a lot of folks that are way wiser than I am. Native Americans, hippies. I could go down the list of people that have been walking on the bare soil. Or the Native Americans, they wear leather moccasins. Why? Well, because they understand way better than I did. So if I can humble myself and say, oh, that makes sense, rather than, yeah, I'm wearing my boots because I got to tromp into this fire and I got to wear my boots. Well, you can do that, Mr. Arrogance, but you can put a pair of these in your boots. And we always have time. It's a 12-minute ride from the fire station to the trailhead. So I have time to take these out of my shoes, put them into my hiking boots, and therefore I can volunteer to say, yeah, I'll take the med pack. It's 60 pounds and it's 85 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have the humidity, okay, like they say down in the South. We don't have that as bad. But by the time we get to the patient, we're a hot mess, And I looked at the patient and the forest ranger and I said, could you guys could have stopped like in the shade? It's kind of hot right here. I mean, maybe next time, can you think about that? And I'm like, no worries, it's okay. So we go into patient assessment and we do things. But the whole time I've got these working on my behalf. Mm-hmm. And wouldn't it be great if we didn't have to self-medicate? I've heard this story many times that, and it's not a blonde joke, and I'm not calling you a blonde, Mary. It's just a story, and it was told of a gentleman he's driving his pick-me-up truck, and there's a newer one, and the warning light comes on in the dash, service engine or something rather, and he pulls into this service station because he didn't have one on him. He walks in the garage, comes back out with a hammer, and he bashes the light out. Problem solved. Right? And no, that those little warning indicators are there for a reason. So just like in my physical body 30 years ago, the warning and dumber, not quite as wise as you are now, not to do those kind of things, like jump off a 75-foot cliff. One of our newest members who's joining our fire department, both he and his wife, they're Navy. They that was their career before they are doing what they're doing now. And they've educated me that when you're on a Navy ship and you jump at any level, 80 feet, when you jump 80 feet, whatever makes contact with the water, it's like slapping concrete.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't quite 80, I was 75. We measured it with a tape measure. And my point is simply this. Whatever made contact for me, and for me, it was my back, because I leaned back a little bit too far before I hit the water. And it ice, snow melt water. So not like the Caribbean when you jump into these tide pools that are just ever so pleasant and lovely. No. So for me, I go back to this. Mm-hmm. This is what helps correct my posture. What helps give me my edge. It keeps me in my A game. So whether it's serving a person in need as a first responder, or playing on roofs with my brother, every day, Monday through Friday. And some days like today, he's out serving people, covering for my dad, picking up pallets and pallets of food. 40% of the food in our country gets wasted. How do I know that? Well, my oldest daughter works for a food equity program, and she's taught us this, mm-hmm. And so that's what he's doing while I'm doing this. And we schedule these things because we can. And we figured out how to work in harmony together, because what our grandfather started in 1960, that's a new year. I mean, new company to some, but well, it's way older than Amazon, but that's our family business. Mm-hmm. And what our grandfather started with and then built up, and our dad took it over, and he had 52 employees. We used to call them 52 headaches, because that's a lot of people to manage. And Dad wasn't very pleasant on family vacations because he had to be near a payphone. He always had to be checking in 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, checking it. Oh man, what did Herschel do today? Oh man, Chuck, oh, I can't believe you were so, it was just all this stress. My brother and I, we have no employees. It's just us.
Mhm.
We do it all, but we do it with an advantage.
Yeah.
And I wear these crazy magnetic necklaces and bracelets, and I like, you've got your air unit right now. I was on a Zoom early this morning, and I don't know if you can see this, Mary, but here's another visual for you. But can you see I wrote my name
Yes.
in the table?
Yes. The
That
air is bad.
the air is really bad on the West Coast because of the wildfires.
Yeah.
The air quality all over the world is really, really bad. So wouldn't it be great if we had a way to retreat into our homes and breathe clean air
Mhm.
that's electronically and magnetically charged and got so many other benefits with a HEPA filter that's super, super clean and easy to maintain? I did the just a cost analysis because I like numbers. Our oldest daughter suffers from allergies. She's only allergic to spring, summer, and fall. That's all. When it's growing, she is retreating. Yet she's got this weekend her second half marathon she's out running. She knows what she has to do to prepare for that. It's a training program for the end goal. And she learned the hard way playing volleyball, being on a court in a spring all-day tournament where we were at Oregon State University. They have a huge agricultural department. Well, everything was budding, all the fields around. She literally dropped on the court because she didn't use an inhaler back then.
Yeah.
She has one now in a case of emergency. But what does she do now? She uses the Nikin air unit
Air
in
machine.
her bedroom, the air machine, and
Mhm.
it when she uses it, she says, "Daddy, it's that simple." I had a friend who same scenario. And I'm not making a medical claim, but she suffered with allergies. She was in a home that wasn't safe and it was had a lot of pollutants and stuff. And she bought it and she called me. She said, "Vance, I love it fact because it's lightweight, so I can carry it from room to room." She was a veterinarian. She worked at home out of her home. And she said, "I want to give it a hug because I can breathe.
Mhm.
I can breathe again." I went, "Well, that's a good thing."
Mhm.
And
Isn't
that,
it
yeah.
isn't it true though that in some cases our indoor air is more polluted than the outdoor air?
I was at my parents' house yesterday all day, and they have cats and everything. I came home and I had to take a broom and broom myself off all the cat hair, everything we were cleaning up and sorting. And but one of the things I did, the first thing I did when I went there, I said, "Okay, I need water." Okay, Nikan has that. They have an app for that. And I just filled up my water bottle. And then I went and found one of the air units and I turned it on full blast. I
Yeah.
thought if I'm going to be if I'm tasked with cleaning up this area, I want to be able to breathe clean air.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this is lovely. Because yeah, we put a lot of these things into our homes to make them comfortable, to make them livable, but we don't realize that we weren't designed to live in all those pollutants. And it again, right now on the West Coast, it's really bad. And there's other factors. We don't have to get all worked up about that. It's just, hey, how do we take an ounce of prevention here, take that philosophy and say, okay, that'll be worth a pound of cure. So whatever it is, whatever thing we're dealing with, whether it's nutritionally, whether it's hydration wise, whether it's sleep, there's some solutions out there. Yeah, I'm a little biased towards this company because our family's been blessed. We've been able to create a life that other people only dream of, and it's just a ton of fun.
Well, Vance, I wanted to thank you for being my guest today and for sharing all of these wonderful tips and also just your story and how people can make a difference in many ways and how some simple energy products make the difference
Well,
in our everyday lives.
thank you, Mary. This was fun.
Well, I'm glad you were here. I'm glad we got up this morning. Anyway, I'm putting my lifetime-wellness-associates.com in the chat. And if anybody's interested, all of these products are available. You just stop on by the website. And if you have any questions, just give me a call. Thanks again, Vance. I've appreciated it. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too, Mary.
Bye-bye.